All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Wednesday to you. It's Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk about, man, if I could only clone myself. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning. Good morning to you, and happy Wednesday. This morning, we're going to be talking about, man, if I could only clone myself. You know, this is, I'm in the midst of a pretty busy week, right? And things just keep getting thrown my way that throw curveballs at me and that make things a little bit more challenging. And so I thought, man, what a great topic to talk about. Everybody can relate to that feeling of being overwhelmed, right? That feeling of thinking to yourself, like, how am I going to get all of this done? And how do you do it? You know, how do you move forward? How do you get to a point where you can actually just kind of take a deep breath and handle things? And these weeks, man, I've had a lot of them over my career, and, you know, they always come and go, right? And, you know, you continue to be successful. You continue to move forward. And, you know, regardless of how busy you are, you always seem to find a way, right? You always seem to find a way to be able to make it through. And when you make it through, you look back and say, like, man, that wasn't that bad. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that this morning, and just some of the tips that I have on that feeling of being overwhelmed, and kind of how to calm that feeling of being overwhelmed in your own life so that you can be most effective during those times of chaos. But as always, I want to say good morning to some folks before we get started here. Derek Swank, good morning to you. Carla, good morning. Tammy, Rick, Randy, Eric Stanley, good morning, brother. Brian Sharp, good morning. Jared, Cam Roberts, thank you, brother. Appreciate you joining us last night. Ryan Austin and Scott, good morning to you guys. And thank you guys for being here with me. It means the world to me that you guys give me the honor of waking up with me in the morning. So, the feeling of being overwhelmed, I think, creeps in on all of us. And you feel that need to almost, like, man, you just want to, like, clone yourself. Like, how could I just get another me to handle this pile of stuff that I got to get through this week, right? And so what do you do in that situation? And it's really a short list, and it's really a simple list of what I try to do. And so many times I say this to you guys, but many times what I talk about on this podcast is as much to help myself as it is to help you. And so this morning, I'm going to go through the list of things that I remind myself of when I'm in the midst of just a crazy week and just a crazy amount of stuff that I have to get done. So the first thing that I do is that I go back to basics, right? I go back to the daily disciplines, the daily habits, the daily routines. I lean on those things heavily, because that is really my comfort zone, right? Sometimes when we don't have as much going on, we can get a little fancy and we do extra things and we pile a bunch of things into our schedule. But really, I go back to basics and I lean on the discipline and the habits that really got me to this point that I can, you know, handle this kind of thing. And I know that I can handle it because I've been through it dozens of times. So have you. It's important to remember that, right? To look back and think about those times when you felt like, man, I've got all this stuff and not enough time to get it done. But you will always, always find a way to do it. And the way to start leaning into these things is to go back to basics, right? Just to lean on that routine and lean on those habits that have gotten you to that point of success in the first place. The second thing that I would say is do not overthink things, right? If you spend a lot of time trying to think through all the things that you have to do and you try to really figure it all out at one time, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to feel that feeling of being anxious, and it's not gonna pay you to do that. It's gonna harm you to do that. You're going to spend a lot of time thinking about what could be, you know, oh man, what if I don't get this done? What if I don't do this? So don't overthink things, right? Spend a lot more time doing the things that you know you need to do than thinking. The next thing on my list is delegate, delegate, delegate. As much things as you can get off of your plate, as many things as you can assign to other people that can help you out with some of the things that are kind of urgent on your list, but you know somebody else might be able to handle. Take that time to delegate those things and make sure you're explaining to those people exactly why you're delegating those things to them. It is critically important to use the resources that are around you. So for me, this morning, I made sure that I expressed to my wife, I've expressed to the people that I spend a lot of time with, that I interact with, that are on my team, that, you know, this feeling of kind of being a little overwhelmed, having a little bit more stuff to do this week than what I can handle, it exists. So the more you communicate that, the more when you delegate to other people, they're going to pick the ball up and run with it and be happy to help you. The next thing I wrote down, real simple, guys, but take massive action. Like, spend as much time as you can being active, right? Starting to chip away at that list. Jump right into the projects that you need to be making moves on. Prioritize them in order of when they're due. What do you have to do? Put the things that are coming first at the front of the line and just start working through them, right? Take massive action and move as quickly as possible as you can through that list of items so that you can feel less and less and less overwhelmed as you start to get through that pile. The next thing I have on the list here is eliminate everything that is not a necessity, right? Anything that's not a necessity on your schedule, it has to get rescheduled. So for me, I went through yesterday and I rescheduled every single appointment that I had that wasn't necessary for today, because tomorrow morning I have to travel, and then tomorrow afternoon is going to be a little bit more hectic. So today is a critical day for me, right? I have to get as much done as I possibly can, and I can't have any unnecessary interruptions in the middle of the day today. So eliminate every single thing on your schedule that's not a necessity in order for you to be able to move your list forward as quickly as possible. Next thing on the list, which I kind of already mentioned, but share what's going on with the people around you. Those people will come to your rescue, especially if you're open and honest. You tell them you got a lot of things going on. Man, I can't even tell you how many people I had offer me help yesterday. And even though in a lot of cases there wasn't a whole lot that I could give to them on the topics that, you know, they could help with, it feels good to know that you have that support. And it also feels great to know that should you have a question or should you get to a point of a mental block when you're trying to create something, that you have those people to rely on. So communicate what's going on. Those people will naturally kind of step back, create some space for you so that you can get to work and not be interrupted quite as much. They'll text you less, they'll call you less, all those kinds of things, so that you can be as productive as possible. And last thing on my list here is stay calm and just focus on the day that's right in front of you. Don't get too overwhelmed about what's coming, you know, what could happen, what about this, what if that. Just stay calm and focus on that day in front of you. And when you do that and you just stay just laser focused on that day in front of you, and you focus on taking massive action for that 8, 10, 12 hours for that day right in front of you, you're going to look up, man, at the end of that day, and you're going to feel like, man, that wasn't so bad at all. Now I feel like I'm in a great place, right? Now I'm in a place where I can handle the rest of this with a little bit more ease. It just takes that one day of really making massive progress, and you'll feel right back into the place that you belong, which is just operating from a place of somewhat comfort and strategy. And it just takes that one day to be able to do that. So stay calm, focus on the day in front of you, realize that this happens to everybody, right? Everybody kind of has that crossroads where they feel overwhelmed, right? Give yourself some grace. Realize that it is a gift to be overwhelmed. That means that you've got a lot going on. Those are probably situations that at some point in your life, you prayed to be that busy, right? You were looking to be that busy. You were trying to create that kind of activity. Now it's here. make sure you give yourself some grace and just lean into it and realize that pressure is a privilege, right? That not everybody gets to feel that feeling of being overwhelmed. And it's really a gift to have that kind of abundance in your life. So when you get that feeling, guys, of being overwhelmed, of feeling like, man, I wish I could clone myself, lean on some of these tips, right? Just go back to the basics. Go back to your discipline and habits. Don't overthink it. Delegate as much as you can. Take massive action. Don't spend any time, trying to overthink things. Just take massive action. Eliminate every single thing on your schedule that is not a necessity. Share those things that are going on in your life at that moment with the people around you so that they can help you. And most importantly, just stay calm, guys. That time will pass. Have some grace with yourself. Realize that what you're going through is really, it's really a gift to your life. It's going to make you better. It's going to push you to another level. And it's really going to show you what you're made of and what kind of practice and discipline and all that kind of stuff you possess at this very moment of your life. So that's it for my list for today, guys. This is a short one, which is good. So I can get back to work here, right? I can get taking action on the list that I've got today. As I mentioned, I will be traveling tomorrow morning. I'm headed down to Miami to the Blue Collar American Dream Conference. I'm going to see a bunch of you guys that are on this stream here and listening to the podcast. I will see you guys down there. It's at the Fontainebleau Hotel. So if anybody is in South Florida and wants to join us, man, come on over. Let's grab some food, grab some coffee, grab a drink, whatever you guys want, and hang out, spend some time together. So I look forward to seeing everybody that's going to be down there. Tomorrow morning, I will not be doing Morning Perspective because I will be on an airplane. So I will see you guys Friday morning, 7:30 a.m. here, and I will be live from the Fontainebleau. You never know who I might be able to pull on to Morning Perspective as a guest on Friday. So I would suggest tuning into that one. If I can let you know in advance, I will, but maybe it might just be a last-minute surprise for you guys as to who can join us here Friday morning on Morning Perspective. But thank you guys for being here. I hope this was helpful to somebody. Hopefully somebody out there that might have been feeling overwhelmed maybe can take this list and apply it to your life, and maybe it just makes an impact on just one person today, and that's good enough for me. It definitely made an impact on me, so I'm already off to a good start. So appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys Friday morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.